Friends, family, fans, episode 66 of Back 9 Bets. Welcome. YuWu. Got chocolate milk? Yes, it's not YuWu, it's YuWu. And we will get into that here shortly. But before we do that, just a little quick somber, sober reality check for y'all out there. Say hello to the loved one that you haven't spoken to for a minute. Mrs. Maniac's great-grandma passed away today. She was 102 years old. An awesome story, an amazing person, and we're going to love and miss her for the rest of our lives. She was an amazing individual, 102 years old. Girls like the Jim Furyk of the real world out here. The Jim Herman. She was amazing, and Mrs. Maniac did a wonderful speech today, and I could not be more proud of how amazing she was up there for everybody. And it just makes golf betting seem a little less significant or a little more insignificant in the grand scheme of things. So I just want to put that out there. If you have a bad week with the golf bets, if we've been struggling to hit a winner, that's okay. Life goes on until it doesn't, and so be it. Enjoy the small things, control what you can, control what you can't, and shooter's gonna shoot. We're gonna take a note out of Tony Finau's book and go with that. You can't control where the ball goes for the most part once it hits the ground, baby. We're gonna rock and roll. Let's have some fun. We got the Rocket Mortgage Classic this week. Had a bit of a rough week last week with the matchups. Max Homer missed the cut. The Shane Lowry fade didn't quite work out. So hit the gala, couldn't quite get him again in round 4. Kind of did the opposite of what happened at the RBC Canadian Open. And then CT Pan landed up losing to Aiden Buckley, who injured a rib. Broke his ribs and's out for most of the season now. Couldn't win that matchup. So good job, CT. The matchups pretty much were a flush, a wash. And, obviously the outright's still on a skid. But it is what it is. We're moving on. We're going forward. And it is the Travelers Champion, the Rocket Mortgage Champion. Rocket Mortgage Classic. Woo! The Rocket Mortgage Classic. We got ourselves 7 outright bets, got ourselves a bunch of placements, a few matchups, and even a round 1 matchup, and a few round 1 showdown targets, along with some DFS plays. A lot of fun stuff coming up. As always, this show is brought to you by rotoballer.com. Use code MANIAC for anything premium related. I just popped out the stat buffet. What you're going to see here is the top 20 of every little category that you can find. Off the tee approach, around the green, fringe, sand, rough proximities, good shot, bad shot. All of these things, top 20, sorted out perfectly for you. Click by click, you can just use that as your little research process. See if you find a guy that you like in as many screenshots as possible. And the fortune cookie filters at the bottom there, that's got all the guys that I like the most that meet an above average criteria for what we're looking for this week. As always, Spencer Aguiar's got his wonderful stuff out there that you can go and follow if you are a premium member. You get my showdown models that happen during the week. Those are being amazing so far, and it's moving on in the right direction. That thing's almost about integrated to being able to use it yourself, and you can manipulate the power rankings how you see fit, not just how I provide it to you. So that's going to be the next step that we do this week, and it's going to be fun. Joe Nicely's got 1 or 2 premium articles out there. Most of his other stuff is free, and our news desk team is just coming to town. So there's free stuff at Rotoballer. If you like what you get and you want to join the premium side of things, feel free to do so using code MANIAC. Join the awesome team that we got compiled over there at rotoballer.com. The Travelers. I'm going to be calling it the goddamn Travelers the whole week. It's the Rocket Mortgage. I don't know why. I can't get that through my thick skull. But let's dive into some quick key stats here, figure out exactly where we want to rock and roll, and then go from there. So at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, we are playing at Detroit Golf Club, where my good friend at PJ Splits 101 from BetSperts, over there where I do my podcast tomorrow at 1 p.m., was at the media center today. Asked Tony Finau a question about his putting. So I retweeted that. Go check that out. A really cool answer from Tony, and he answered in there, shooter's going to shoot, and that's why I referenced that. But this week we kind of, although it says accuracy off the tee is important, you can see how like year by year it kind of isn't. Kind of jumps around a bit, doesn't it? So as we can see there, it's not necessarily going to be a clear depiction, and that's why course history isn't that important either. You got to make sure you get your putts in the hole. So we got some big putting stats involved. That's going to be 4% more important than tour average than usual. And then the weirdest thing about this golf course is all the way from 150 to 250. It's either tour average or below average, from 125. And up to 250. It's below average or tour average, with the majority of them from 150 to from 220. Let's just start that again. From 150 to 225 in proximity ranges, they're all below average, about 3%, 8%, 4% less than tour average. Then we got 75 to 100, 4% more important. 100 to 125, 2%. So those kind of short, flippy lob wedge, sand wedges, gap wedges are important. And while I'm just saying this, I know this is a really random point, but that FedEx ad about the all caddies voting in favor of the lob wedge over the pitching wedge, say aye. That ad drives me nuts, because what about a gap wedge? What about a sand wedge? Are we just suggesting a lob wedge or a pitching wedge? There's like 8 degrees of difference. There's like 12 degrees of difference between a lob wedge and a pitching wedge. Why is there no other suggestion there for sand wedges and gap wedges? So that caddy needs to, all in favor of getting that ad off the internet, say aye. So aye. Anyway, moving on swiftly, jumping to our model rankings and power settings here. 2023 stats, we are reducing course history to 5%, not important. Recent form, 10%. And then stats that we're going to be rattling off here, 85% of the way. 35% for total approach. As always, good shot, bad shot. We only want good shots at a birdie fest. You want to give yourself as many opportunities as possible. We want strokes gained approach just as a nice little baseline. And then we want putters. So we got a lot of putting here. We got about a casual 15% of short game compiled for putting. We've got some bent grass from 5 to 15 feet. We got some actual bent grass putting in general. And then we got our 5% for last 24 rounds putting, birdie percentages, par 5 scoring, and easy scoring, all in there to make 30% total. So we got to dominate those par 5s. There's 4 of them this week. You got to make sure you make eagles and birdies on those bad boys in order to stay in the hunt. Strokes gained off the tee were awesome. So we want to make sure we got solid strokes gained off the tee, good drives gained, and recent off the tee stuff. My main man, Brian, in the house here saying the graphics this week on Twitter were next level funny. My man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. That's all we got to do. You know, it's a tough time to get into golf betting if you don't have some resilience, if you don't have some sort of process that you enjoy doing. And for me, it's so much fun making those graphics, because if you're not going to hit a winner, might as well just make a funny damn graphic and have fun doing it, because otherwise you can want to just jump off a building, because guys like Cameron Smith and others, freaking Eric Cole sitting in 4th last week makes an 8. Just ejects himself immediately in one hole, hits 2 balls out of bounds on the same hole. Just brutal stuff. So that kind of stuff can make you want to chew glass, but hey, it is what it is. So thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. The At the Model Maniac, baby, is where you can find the best Photoshop shizners on golf Twitter there, because that's just what I do. So let's find them. Let's find some winners here. Let's cruise through the board. As always, round 1 tee times in green, AM. In the afternoon, you don't have to see the actual tee time. Just know that the darker the color, the later the round 1 tee time is. We've got ourselves all sorts of fun stuff. Thanks for tuning in, friends. Happy Tuesday. Happy Rocket Mortgage Classic. It's going to be a fun one. Cheers to Andrew Putters for my master's glass that I'm going to be sipping out of all week. Got a little grape cordial in there, and we're going to dive through. So number 1 in the model is Tony Finau. Surprise, surprise. Last year's winner. And like we said, there's only 5% course history on here. So his game fits this course to a T. He leads the field in birdies or better. He leads the field. He's second in par 5 scoring. So that's nice. We like to see that. I've removed his par 5 scoring out of the picture here. So now oh boy. What are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? Let's do this, yeah. There we go. Let's get the par 5 back in there, and off we go. Tony Finau's par 5 scoring is second in the field. He's 5th in strokes gained on easy golf courses. There's a lot to like about Tony, apart from the fact that Big Tone cannot putt right now. Last 24 rounds, 116th in the field in putting. No bueno. Now, what we do know is he still leads this field in birdies or better, so he can do it. And I think that strokes gained putting issue comes from closer to the hole. This week, we can expect a lot of greens in regulation, a lot of longer putts that you're going to just have to drain and drain and drain. I think he's going to be looking and chasing birdies. I don't mind Big Tony this week as a pivot, $500 more than Ricky Fowler. Ricky's going to be 26% owned. Now, Tony, He's only finished inside the top 20, 36% of the time, where Ricky is definitely garnering that ownership there at 71% top 20 rate. But they don't really have that big of a difference between top 10s, although Ricky's been balling out lately. So we'll see what happens with Ricky. Was contemplating betting him as an outright. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go with someone else instead. But Ricky he's been jamming. Leads the field in strokes gained coming into the week. But anyway, we're going to rock and roll with Tony as a pivot at a course he's played well at. On greens he likes. If you go and watch that video that my main man Ron asked Tony, he said bent grass greens, he likes to putt on them. And as you can see here, he does actually putt better. His putting stats on bent grass greens over the last 50 rounds, 15th in the field. So we'll see what he can get up to. I'm not too concerned. The number one birdie maker in the field. We're going to definitely roster Tony Finau this week. Ricky Fowler. What is there not to love about the guy? I mean, off the tee on courses bigger than 7,200 yards, he's got the nicest driving average alongside Tony there, both at 69 in the field. Bent grass putting, 25th in the field, birdie or better rates on these kind of courses, not these kind of courses, in general this season, 4th in the field, par 5 scoring, 6th in the field. So there's a lot to like about Ricky. The only thing we don't like is his ownership. The only thing we don't like is the fact that I don't know what Ricky Fowler gets up to when he's in contention. It feels like he kind of hits the eject button a little bit. And at 26% ownership, $10,400, I feel like you got to bring me a bit more juice. We'll see what he can get up to. I'm not entirely faithful or not entirely sold that he can get it done. I feel like a few of those top 10s, the 21% of them were kind of sneaky on a Sunday when he wasn't quite in the mix, comes into the mix. Also, when he was in the mix, he kind of fell back out of the lead at the US Open. Yes, that was a US Open. I don't know how it goes, but nothing not to like about Ricky apart from ownership. But $10,400 should be keeping it to a relatively low number, although this field is a bit watered down. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm not necessarily thrilled about him. And neither am I thrilled about Colin Morikawa. I know he's one of the best iron players in the world, but if you take a look at his weighted good shot proximities for this year, it's only 41st in the field, which is kind of bizarre. And so is Tony, 45th, which is really peculiar. Ricky, dialing it in. So a weighted good shot means that you take all these different proximities that we're going to be having this week, and you prorate them out to percentage to make them more important. So those short wedges inside 100 yards, those kind of things. You want to gain over half a stroke on a field on a single shot, get you a good shot. And Ricky dials it in. So, I mean, whoo boy, I've been trying to fade this dude. Maybe we just play Ricky instead of JT, because I think the JT steam is a little unnecessary, but we'll dive into that shortly. But I mean, there's a lot to like. And Colin and Tony not quite doing that on a regular basis. Neither Tom Kim, Sung Jae Im also, like just not getting there on the good shots. You're not providing yourself a lot of birdie opportunities, but that is what it is. Then you take a look at what Colin gets up to. And despite his atrocious putting, and I don't know if he's going to make nearly enough birdies this week. If you go take a look at the tweet I sent out, he gets to like minus 19, minus 17 under par quite a lot since 2017. Maybe that a lot of that heavy lifting was early in his career when he didn't have scar tissue on the greens, but we shall see. Par 5 scoring, he dominates. Birdie or betters, 5th in the field. So there's a lot to like from Colin. Easy golf courses, 10th in the field. So maybe he's a solid pivot at 10-6, but also, how many guys in the $10,000 range are we really going to play? I don't mind Colin. He's kind of an iffy situation. Hopefully that ownership trends downwards, but he just doesn't seem like he's screaming upside to me. Tom Kim is $9,800. Tom Kim leads the field. That's Colin Morikawa, excuse me. Tom Kim is just doing some sexy stuff. Easy courses. 4th in the field in scoring there. Driving on longer holes now. He's starting to get better off the tee. If you take a look at old Tom Kim, he's 33rd in the field in just strokes gained off the tee in 2023. So he's no longer a little pop gun accuracy machine only. He is still very accurate, but he's kind of middle of the field in distance, which is nice. Then you get to strokes gained weighted, 3rd in the field. Weighted proximity, 5th in the field. Good shots, 39. So he's not dialing it in. He's kind of playing a little tentatively lately. But he doesn't hit a lot of bad shots either. So that's what you're going to get from old Tommy. 9th in the field in birdie or better rates. I don't know. Are we going to go that $9,800? The guy's got 14% of his finishes in the last 14 starts at top 10s. Not that many top 20s. Only 7% more. So we'll see. I don't know. Tom might be moving in the right direction. The putter is the concern, but maybe it's moving in the right way. We shall see. Sungjae Im also. Putter, fine. I love Sungjae. If you take a look at what Sungjae gets up to, he plays a lot of golf, and he leads the field, I think, in percentage per round. So I know it's per round, but it's per event, same thing. The math will do the same percentage. But he, per round, scores under minus 15, like 4.5% of the time. So when he's playing, I know he plays a lot, he goes deep, and that's validated by his easy scoring, third in the field. So you love to see that off the tee, longer, 7,200 plus, third in the field. So that's nice to see there. This needs to change the sign around. Excuse me real quick while I just do a little editing as we scoot along. We want to see off the tee bigger than off the tee. I just had it right. What am I doing here? There we go. So anyway, we'll find out what's going on with Sungjae here shortly. The weighted good shot percentage is not dialed right now. But I think he might have bounced back. Since he went to Korea, things went a little astray. I think old Sungjae is kind of moving in the right direction. If you take a look at what he got up to at whatchamacallit, it was a much more important and impressive performance at Championship. He finished 29th after actually getting off the really hot start. The approach kind of waned on Sunday. The putter disappeared on Sunday, but it was all kind of looking okay. I think we can go back to Sungjae this week, but at 423%, that's kind of, it's a lot of ownership right there. I think we can go elsewhere for other options. He hasn't really been playing good enough recently to warrant that kind of ownership. We can probably go elsewhere. The same with the Hideki. If you take a look at easy scoring, 16th in the field, yes, did some solid stuff last week as well, but it was just like 1 or 2 rounds. So I feel like Hideki is more of a kind of a showdown play because you strokes gained total of 4.2, 4.8. He's going to lose you in a round. He's going to gain a few in a round. He's going to just do his thing. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Also, Brian, or whoever's watching, if I'm lagging, please let me know because then I'll just shut one of my screens down. It might be causing some issues. Just please let me know. I don't want to be providing a bad product for you as this is a live stream. But old Hideki still hasn't finished inside the top 10 despite having an absolute baller situation on the approach side of things lately. The putter seems to kind of have bounced back but also he loses far too many shots on the greens every now and then. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to shut this son of a gun down regardless because who knows what it's causing for me. We're not going to worry about Hideki this week. I'm out on him as well, especially at that kind of ownership. I'm out on Justin Thomas as well. He had 2 really, 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 really good rounds, and now everyone's back on him. You never know at this kind of ownership, at this kind of situation, especially with a putter like this. He is one of the more premier birdie makers in the field. I understand that. But also, we kind of jumping from $10,000 and 22% ownership on a guy that has not really played that well. I know he's got a few top 10s. A few of those were backdoor top 10s. Look at that top 30, top 20 rate. It's only 31%. Like, he has not been playing well. And we're going to dive all the way head first into Justin Thomas this week. Y'all do that. I am not doing that. I'm not doing it. I can't. There's not enough. I'm not jumping off the boat because there's a grease fire. You just got to throw some beer on that bad boy. Throw some beer on Justin Thomas. Let's put that fire out. I know we have a few rainmakers of him. It is what it is. That's a different ballpark. I'm out on JT despite his great performance last week. I don't know how much he can rely on a putter that you're going to have to get to minus 30 on. You know, ball striking can only get you that far. So we're going to be out on him. We're going to pivot to like a Max Homer, who I really appreciate this week. So much so that while I was on the can, so these outrights I made, folks, I'm going to put it out there. We did them 6:30 on a Monday morning from the bathroom. We kind of just scrolled. We went with the gut feel, ditched the model because it's obviously not working that well. So we kind of just went, okay, who do we like? What numbers do we see? We were up early, got some good numbers, grabbed a Max Homer 20-1. I know I haven't hit a single freaking Max Homer outright, and I've been on the guy a million times when he finished second at the Farmers Insurance, all that jazz. No, he finished first. I had Keegan at the Farmers. Then he goes and wins. Then he finished second at the Genesis when I was on him, and John Rahm won. So it's like being a battle of back and forth with old Max Homer. He's just always been in the mix when I have had a second place finish, whether I was on him or not. we're going to be on him again. 20 to 1, there's 18s out there right now. Jam. Let's go. This guy, look at this. He's got the most top 10s in the field by a landslide. He balled out on Friday. Thursday was a bit of a disaster for the guy. Shot a little over par, then went 5 under through 12 holes and couldn't make a birdie coming in. So many good putts just slid by. Missed the cut by 1 shot. Max Homa is the second most impressive guy on the birdie front. Second in the field in birdie or better rates. If you take a look at his weighted good shots, it's 38th in the field. If you take a look at his approach, weighted strokes gained, 11th. So it's like kind of okay. That's a lot of that coming from the last time. If you take a look at Max Homa in a birdie fest, I don't know if it concerns me because Max Homa on easy golf courses is 12th in the field in strokes gained. If you take a look at birdie or better rates, he's the second best strokes gainer birdie man on par. Max Homa is second in the field in birdie or better rates. Zach, second. So we'll see what he can get up to. He's the 15th best bent grass putter in the field. He's the 3rd best general putter in the field. We're going to see what he can get up to. I have no idea. We'll see if he can get to 20 under. We'll see what happens. But yeah, he's a birdie machine, bro. So we'll see what he can get up to. We're on him at 18. He's a winner. He's won 3 times a season, twice this year. Also, I see my internet things going off. They decided to, in my old ass town that I live in over here, decided to change the fiber optics or the fiber whatever out front. They ripped up my whole front yard and threw in a bunch of new high-powered technology. And now, since then, Netflix and all that jazz streaming has just gone worse. So I don't know if that's still installing or if they slowed down the other stuff to kind of boycott the company. I don't know. But we're rolling with it. There's bigger problems in the world than bad internet, although my well-being kind of relies on that. So anyway, tangent behind us. Max Homa. I think I like him. I think he can roll him in. I think with the putter, the way he's it's all it takes is just a bit of confidence. I don't know. He's starting to hit a draw. I noticed he's hitting a lot more draws now. I remember when he won the Farmers, he said he's only allowed 2 or 3 draws per tournament that his caddy allows him. Now he's hitting a draw on like every shot. I don't know if he's changed something and it started to start clicking again now. 2 top 10s in the last 2 or 3 non-elevated events is nice. Majors. Majors have been a big part of his downfall over the last little while, and now he's been playing better in these non-elevated, non-major events. I like Max Homa this week, 18, 20 to 1. Go grab yourself. He's one of the better putters in the field. Boom, boom. Like we said, birdie or better rates, second in the field. So you got to go with that for Max Homa. At a course like this, let's go. He's one of the best putters, birdie rates. Let's go. Par 5 scoring for him, a little concerning at 42nd, but we'll see what we can get up to. We're just taking a chance on the putter to get hot, and we roll. Like Keegan Bradley. I took a look at his stats. Holy cow. He hadn't gained on approach. He gained 4 consecutive days in a row last week on approach. He'd been losing strokes since who knows when. It's a long time. 24 rounds back, he's been losing strokes. Goes and gains all 4 rounds, and his putter just went off because he's played up in Connecticut. The guy is a big family guy. His family was in the house, blah, 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 wins the thing. The putter was on fuego, and it has been on fuego lately. But the approach play is not good enough, if you ask me. I don't know what happened last week. I doubt it's going to show up again. Geez, I really hope not, but we're off of Keegan this week. We're on Austin Eckroat, though. Austin Eckroat, from the can, we got him at 80 to 1 to win this goddamn tournament. He enters the week with the 3rd best strokes gained total of the last 24 rounds. He is 29th in birdie or better rates. He is solid when it comes to easy scoring conditions, 24th in the field. He's been balling out on the approach and off the tee, 14th and 12th. 14th off the tee, 12th on approach the last 24 rounds. The guy is jamming off the tee in general, 14th in the field. If you take a look at Austin Eckroat, this is what I like about him this week. Strokes gained, weighted good shot percentage is 27th in the field. So he's going to be gaining over half a stroke on a lot of shots this week. And if you take a look at his bent grass splits from 5 to 15 feet, 22nd in the field. on bent grass in general. Strokes gained last 50, 15th in the field. Boom. Great on bent grass. Hits a lot of shots close. He's playing great golf right now. The ball striking is rolling. Easy scoring on 24th in the field. Arsen Eckroat, folks, is our guy. Now at $8,000 and 17% ownership, that's a bit of a, it's a bit of a concern. But if you think about the fact that he's the first guy in the 8K range for quite some time in the model, and we make him $9,000, and we take Arsen Eckroat and put him in the $9,000 range, and he's 17%, and we make him sit here right by underneath Keegan Bradley at 17 when Keegan's 14, and we got a Hideki and Sanjay sitting there at 23. To me, I know old Degenerate 75 suggests that there are other options around him that most likely can play better. So let's actually find that. Let's take a look and see around Arsen Eckroat. Is he good chalk? Is he bad chalk? Let's find out. He's obviously the mega chalk in this range. He's donkey chalk, folks, according to Mr. Degenerate 75, who I respect very much so. And he's 10th in the model, though. Okay. So that's kind of the philosophy I'm having here. Adam Hadwin. If you take a look at Arsen Eckroat's top 10 rates, is 7%. Top 20 is 29%. But as you can see, this guy's got the only pink box around him over the last 24 rounds, third in the field in that department. Benny On, potentially at 10%, $8,200 is not a bad pivot. There's other guys that are all like questionable. Aaron Rye, he's at 7,800, 10%. So you're going to be dropping 7 full percent points to get to these other guys. And none of them really scream like they're going to be doing it for you. So maybe we just play him as a outright, and then we monitor this ownership. But potentially we're probably just going to go balls to the wall. He's moving in the right direction, folks. So he might be one of the 8K guys that we just absolutely eat the chalk on and kind of dodge a lot of it, like leave Hideki, leave Sanjay, leave those guys out of the mix. Probably play a bit of Ricky still. I'm just looking at this now, and it does not make sense to leave him out of your player pool. He's just playing too good. 71% of the time he's inside the top 20. The next best dude when you're taking top 20 rates is Max Homer at 50%. So Ricky is just jamming, gentlemen and ladies. He's just doing his thing. Ricky Fowler out here to make a point. So I don't mind Ricky at all. He's very consistent. So we're going to talk about him a little bit. But we're first going to get back to the model situation here. Get into the mix. Find our bets. Rock and roll there. Smallest to largest. Let's go. So Arsen Eckroat sitting 10th, $8,000. Love what we can get up to with him over there. Sign us up for that. He's an outright 80-1. Boom. I think a top 20 for him at plus 225 is an interesting situation. I need to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. We got to make sure that we've got all our guys, and we're just going to hide one or two more extra columns here just to make sure that we have him, and we almost did not. So we're going to bet. Arsen Eckroat's our first top 20 bet as well, plus 225. So this is it. This is how you get off Arsen Eckroat chalk. You bet him at plus 225 to finish inside the top 20, because if he at 17% does not finish inside the top 20, that 17% isn't going to pay off. But if he does, bet your top 20 on Arsen Eckroat, and you're probably going to cover your losses with that simply by betting. If you bet $40 on your DFS week, put $20 on Arsen Eckroat to finish inside the top 20 at plus 225. And then if he does, you make no money that week. You just make your Arsen Eckroat money, and maybe you still make money because you pivoted your face off like we like to do here and see how it goes. But I like Arsen Eckroat, top 20, plus 225. As you can see here, it's not quite caught up yet, but he's trending, fellas. He is trending in the right direction. So we'll see what he can get up to. This next gentleman on the slate really excites me. $7,300, 11th in the model. He's a past champion, the inaugural maiden winner of the Rocket Mortgage Classic, is a Mr. Nate Lashley. And we're going to turn our hat a little bit backwards to talk about this guy. Because off the tee, he struggles a little bit, but so be it. It is what it is. If you take a look at his weighted strokes gained, he gains strokes at this kind of a golf course based off the different proximities we're going to experience. He's the 10th best on strokes gained on approach. And if you take a look at his recent approach, it's 7th. So stuff is moving in the right direction, people. And we're going to a course that really suits his game, because this column right here, approach, is strokes gained approach, but just general. Doesn't matter about proximities. It's just your strokes gained approach. If you go to the PGA Tour website, it tells you he's 28th in the field. However, it doesn't tell you per this golf course off the different proximity ranges what his strokes gained are, and it's 10th. So we've got a guy that's 7th in the field in strokes gained over the last 24 rounds, general, going to a course that suits his baseline strokes gained to 10th from 28th. And he's just trending. He's trending so hard. And he's plus 400 for a top 20. And since the Wells Fargo, his last 16 rounds on approach, he's averaging plus 1.15. He's putting like crap at the Travelers, so that's why he's missed the cut. But his last few starts, people, is a miscut, a 17th, another miscut, T23, T27, T39, T31. And he's a past winner. So you're going to get Nate Lashley at plus 400 for a top 20. And he's flirting with that. Now, if you don't necessarily feel like a Nate Lashley top 20 is right around the corner, go grab him for top 40, because that's still going to be plus money if he's plus 400. And he does that at about a 50% clip. And I bet you it's going to be plus 150-ish for a Nate Lashley top 40. So that's what you're going to find yourself there if you want to play a bit more conservative. We're going balls to the wall. We liked how the model feels about him this week. We liked the approach play. His bent grass putting is much better than his general putting. He makes a lot of birdies. He's 19th in the field in birdie rates. And he's also 15th in the field in par 5 scoring. So old Nasty Nate hits him straight at Old Rocket Mortgage Classic, friends. He's a past winner here. Plus 400 for a top 20, $7,300, 7% ownership. Boom, boom. All of that is going to be all up in our face. All up in our face. So we like him. Let's go, Nate. Next up's Aaron Rai. I don't know what's going on with this dude, but if you take a look at his birdie or better rates, it's drastically improved. I don't know what it was to start off the year, but it's 31st in this field now, and he's moving in the right direction. On off the tee, he's 24th, despite his lack of severe distance. That's fine. Just hit it down the fairway. Give yourself a million amazing approach shots to do that. His weighted strokes gained, he's 24th in the field. His current recent trend on approach is 8th over the last 24 rounds. So that's great. And he's 36th on easy scoring. He's $7,800, 10% owned. You make your decision there. We don't mind him as a play at $7,800. We just don't know that upside at T10 rates. But also, if you take a look at his recent performances, they're kind of moving in the right direction, which is kind of interesting for old Aaron. So we'll see what he can get up to. Brendan Todd can get punted into the sun because he models out amazingly all the time, most likely because of his bent grass putting, most likely because he's 22nd in birdie or better rates, but yet here we sit with a top 20 rate at 13%. Disgusting. In his 15 starts, only 13% of the time is a top 20, the same as the top 10 rates. Plus 360 for a Brendan Todd top 20. We can tell the model, we made you, baby, and we don't like that. We don't like it at all. It likes Brendan Todd far too much. We are not enjoying it. Now, Brian saying, yes, Todd at a putting contest, I don't mind. Okay. At 6% ownership, also $7,400, maybe. I just don't like him at I don't know. He's done nothing. At a putting contest, I understand. The Travelers last week was a putting contest. I don't know what he got up to at the Travelers. Let's take a quick little peek at old Brendan Todd, because he's been so freaking disappointing lately. We've been on him a lot. Missed the cut of the Travelers. RBC Canadian, T34th. Memorial, WD. Charles Schwab, T57. PGA Championship, miscut. The Wells Fargo was the only time he's had a top 10 in the last forever. He has not had another top 20 since the Phoenix Open, friends. I know it seems appealing. Yes, showdown. Exactly, because I think his round by round stuff, round 4, not good. Not good. It's like goes backwards for some weird reason. And the funny thing is he's right by a guy that I'm going to talk about here as a showdown play. So we'll upgrade Brendan Todd from punting him into the sun to punting him into the sun once he makes the weekend, hopefully after crushing us our showdown lineups over here. So we don't mind him as a showdown option. Brian in the house here helping me navigate my negativity a little bit around Brendan Todd. But we are not betting him for a top 20 at plus 360 because We've hardly seen him do that. Vincent Norman is next up at 14th in the model, plus 500 for a top 20 for old Vincent. 15% of his 13 starts have been top 20s, but we are talking about a place that's called the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Detroit Golf Club, where you can just send nukes, bombs away, baby. And old Vincent, if you take a look at his stats, 7th in the field in distance, 22nd in the field off the tee, 20th in the field in birdie or better rates. He's the bogey monster, the bogey man. 84th, he's one of the worst guys we see outside of JT, whose bogey avoidance is disgustingly bad, at 123rd in this field. But Vincent Norman is sitting here at a casual 84th in that, but par 5 scoring, 12th. So the two things, we're going to just ignore bogey avoidance this week. We don't care about that. Par 5 scoring, 12th, birdie or better rates, 20th. For Vincent Norman, sign me up. Easy scoring is 76th in the field. Not ideal, but maybe there's been easy scoring at conditions like the Travelers last week. That doesn't suit a Vincent Norman where you want to see the guy just nuking it off the tee. He hits it so freaking far. So we'll see what he can get up to. His last 24 rounds are 21st in the field. So if we're looking over the last 24 rounds, he's 21st and we're betting him for top 20 at plus 500. So I feel like that's pretty much matches the 15% top 20 rate that he does have. And I feel like this is a great course fit. I love him at $6,900. We'll see what we can get up to with old Vincent. We'll see what he can do. I don't mind him. I think he's a great course fit. The approach play is going to have to figure itself out. The weighted side does not look good at all. But if you take a look at his bent grass putting from 5 to 15 feet, it's 14th in the field. That's what you're getting from old Vince. Now, the bent grass in general of the last 50 is 106th, but hey, we're going to pick and choose our battles here, pretend like that's not a problem. Hopefully, he hits everything to 5 to 15 feet, and off we go. Well, birdie or better rates, par 5 scoring. We love all of that about old Vincey. Next up is Brandon YuWu. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Brandon YuWu, plus 130 for a top 20. This is actually plus 130 for a top 40 because we changed it. It didn't want to kick out a solid number for us for top 20, so we changed it to top 40, which I actually like a lot more. Over the last 24 rounds, he's 15th in the field in total strokes gained. He's at 12th in the field in birdie or better rates. And if you take a look at Brandon YuWu's track record, if you go to the non-elevated events, my God, is it a totally different ball game for this guy. He is seriously talented when it comes to non-talented fields. Missed the cut at the Travelers, missed the cut at the Memorial, missed the cut at the PGA Championship, missed the cut at the RBC Heritage. Those are all elevated events. Now we go to the Mexico Open, 3rd. AT&T Byron Nelson, 23rd. RBC Canadian Open, T9. Every single time he's gaining strokes is in these non-elevated events. We have got ourselves a non-elevated event this week, and Brandon YuWu is on our card, and he is a casual 80-1, and we are betting him to win this goddamn tournament. T9 at the RBC Canadian, a non-elevated event. Sign us up for Brandon YuWu there, and then we just little sprinkle a plus 130 bet for a top 40 on him. We're also going to play him in DFS. I love what he can get up to. I don't know if people have caught on to the fact 8%, little spendy. I understand. It is what it is. And his brother in crime, the name of the pod, the YuWu crew. Do you like chocolate milk, baby? We do. We're going to drink that chocolate milk. We're going to shake it up. Kevin Yu sitting at 7,010%. Woo, that's exciting. Anyway, Brandon YuWu, we like him a lot. If you take a look at his weighted good shot percentages, guy doesn't give a crap about green regulations. 119th. Who gives a crap? Good shots, 13th in the field. Bad shots, 18th in the field. Avoids bad shots like a crazy man. Birdie or better rates, 12th in the field. Let's go. Easy scoring conditions, 26th in the field. Let's go. Recent form, solid. Ball striking, solid. Approach play of the last 24 rounds, nice. 69th, baby. Let's go. Putting, last 24, 19th. Solid putter. We'll see what he can get up to. The putting is weird because I don't know what he gets up to in these non-elevated events. In fact, we actually can find out. If you take a look at his putting in the non-elevateds, it's amazing compared to the elevated. So sign us up for Brandon YuWu. We are going to the moon. Brian Harmon, next up on the charts here, 16th in the model. Recent form, solid. Guy plays easy courses like a boss. Although the bogey avoidance rate's the number one thing that he's rocking and rolling, which doesn't make that big of much sense. 42nd in birdie or better rates, but second in easy scoring. Very interesting stuff there. Also, doesn't hit any good shots, 146th in weighted good shot percentage, but he's one of the better putters in the field. Solid putter, but not necessarily that good on bent grass. I don't know if I'm a big fan of Brian Harman this week at 11%, $8,800. In fact, I'm out. I've just made that decision right now. It's just probably going to come to haunt us, but at 10, 11%, I'm out on Brian Harman. Next up's Akshay Bashir. He's sitting in 17th in the model, and the model suggests that we bet him for a top 40 at plus 188. And his top 40 rate is 11% in his 9 starts. Now, I've got a little note on this dude. And if you take a look at old Akshay Bashir's weighted proximity numbers, the good shot rate is 24th in the field, weighted for this golf course. The birdie or better rate is 13th in the field for this golf course. Easy scoring for old Akshay, 46th in the field. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. The top 40 seems like it's easy money, right? No. Over the last 6 rounds for Akshay Bashir, the last six final rounds of his tournament. So it's either the round 2 that he had before he missed the cut or round 4 of a tournament. In those 6 rounds, those final rounds, he's lost minus 10.19 strokes on approach. We're talking about one of the best iron players that we've seen for a hot little minute. He's like a really solid approach player. 17th in the field in strokes gained approach. He's lost over 10 strokes on approach in those critical rounds. You can literally go and find, if you go round by round, you can find round 4 or the round 2 that he missed a cut. Just by going down his strokes gained approach, it's gain 1, gain 1, gain 1, minus. He just does not have it in the recent rounds when it matters most. And I'm out. So he is, Brian, Akshay Bhatia, blue over here for showdown. Let's go. Round 1, round 2, even round 3. Let's go. He's going to have a big round. Round 4, he's an absolute fade. If you can find some sort of matchups for him in round 4, I suggest you bet that because he just doesn't have it in round 4 for some reason, unless it was in Mexico. So we are out on him. He's a showdown play. I don't like what he can get up to on Sundays. Steven Yeager's an interesting prospect at $8,900. We did like him as a pivot. He's very safe, 88% made cut rate, one of the best in the field outside of Tony and Ricky. He's actually made the most cuts in this field in 16 starts. Let's go there. 50% of them have been top 40s. That's not too shabby. Ideally, you'd like a few more top 10s. The guy's got 0 top 10s. He's $8,900. That's the problem. He is also 33rd in birdie or better rates. He's also very good at avoiding bad shots, very good at green regulations, not very good at hitting them close. Easy scoring, 29th in the field. It's interesting because if you're looking for a guy that's going to give you something in DFS, Steven Yeager just doesn't seem like he's going to give you any upside. No top 10s in 16 starts, despite having made 88% of his cuts. There's just a lack of whatever. And it's the putter that's his biggest issue. It seems like he just can't get the putter figured out. Although on bent grass from 5 to 15 feet, he's a bit better than usual. I don't know if we're going to play him or not. So we're out on him. The upside. It's going to look amazing until Sunday. I don't know, man. At $8,900, I don't know. Adam Hadwin, same situation, but he's $8,100. And he makes a lot more top 20s. Potentially can sneak into a top 10 situation. Take a look at, he's the number 1 scorer on easy scoring conditions. Love that about the guy. And his birdie or better rate's actually pretty crap. 56th in the field. Par 5 scoring, 27th. What about Adam Hadwin is popping in the model? The fact that he's just very good on easy scoring. The fact that he's a good putter, I guess. But I'm out on him. I don't know. I just don't like what I'm seeing from this guy. Don't like what I'm seeing. We're going to move on. Kevin Yu, next up on the board. Next up in our hearts. Kevin Yu, folks, is plus 163 for a top 40, and he's 20th in the model. He's finished inside the top 40 in his 5 starts, 40% of the time. He's done amazing things. Off the tee, he absolutely sends it. He's so accurate and so long off the tee. He's a great, great golfer for this golf course, and hits a lot of decent shots, some good shots, 29th, bad shot avoidance, 26th. Kind of got himself way up the leaderboard early on at the Travelers last week, and got a little shaky, which was not ideal. We had him for a top 40 and he finished like 56th after being inside the top 10 after round 1 at like plus 420 for a top 40. So we're going to go back to him this week, potentially at a course that really is going to help him gain off the tee. I mean, he leads the field in strokes gained off the tee in his short period of time here. So we can see what he can get up to. The birdie or better rates is amazing so far. 3rd and then 9th in par 5 scoring. So there's a lot to like about him. Easy scoring conditions, 18th in the field. Love Kevin Yu. We are betting him top 40 at plus 163. And we are betting Kevin Yu at plus 120 to 1. Kevin Yu. Sign us up for him. We don't mind Kevin Yu University. We're going to sign up for that. We're going to graduate with him when he wins this goddamn tournament because he can make birdies. He can hit nukes. He can hit him close with the irons. The dials, the dials, the dials. Let's go, Kevin Yu. I don't know about a $7,000 10% Kevin Yu, though. Woo, that's kind of interesting. But also at the same time, if we slot him into the 8K range, that 10% doesn't seem as different. We'll find out what goes on. But I think like a Dylan Wu versus Kevin Yu is not a bad pivot sitting right over here. So potentially someone we're going to go to. We'll talk about him here shortly. Tom Hoagie doesn't know how to play golf. We're not going to waste a single second more about him this podcast. Joseph Bramlett, on the other hand, also send the nukes. 5th in the field off the tee. Sorry, distance-wise. 39th in the field off the tee in general. 23rd of the last 24 rounds. On approach, he's 24th in the field. And his recent form is 10th in the field. He's gained the 10th most strokes average over the last 24 rounds. Now, is this guy a good putter? No. Not a good putter at all. And at 150 to 1, which we got him on from the can, we got ourselves a little Joseph Bramlett action to win this goddamn tournament, friends. We're going to sign us up for some Joseph Bramlett. I have no idea what's out there. I think 80s, 90s. Joseph Bramlett is the guy. He's going to hit distance. He's going to hit tons of green in regulations. He's 5th in that. And 33rd in good shot rates. 17th in birdie or better rates. And 24th in par 5 scoring. So he checks those boxes quite nicely. Not like elite, but solid. For a guy that's 150 to 1, let's go. $7,600. I don't mind him at 7% either. I don't know, like where we're going to go there. But I really like Joseph Bramlett this week. He's been playing some solid golf lately. I like him a lot this week. We'll see what the putter can get up to, but hopefully the irons can take care of business enough. He's $7,600. We don't need that much from him, and we need an outlier putter performance, and then we're in business. So I don't mind him at all. I like him more than Ryan Palmer, that's for sure. Although Ryan Palmer's kind of also in the same boat. Really bad putter and a really good birdie maker and par 5 scorer, but we're going to go to a birdie fest. Yeah, we're going to need some putting, and Ryan Palmer's putter is broken right now. So we're out on Ryan Palmer. We'll go to Dylan Hu instead. When you take a look at old Dylan Hu, I just love to see the math make sense here, folks. Take a look at Dylan Hu's top 40 rate over the last 15 starts, which is in 2023. 60% of the time, he's finishing inside the top 40. Yet the books are offering us a Dylan Hu top 40 at plus 163. He's 24th in the model. We are going to that. There's 40 points of value on that one right there. He's great on approach recently over the last 24 rounds. His good shot rates, not the best in the world at all. Like it's 133rd. But yet, yeah, we are seeing a 15th in birdie or better rates and a 13th in par 5 scoring for Dylan Hu. So I don't know what that means, but it means something. We can make birdies despite he just pounds greens and then makes putts, it seems like. His bent cross putting over the last 50 is way worse than it is on normal putting surfaces, which is going to be a problem, but we're going to rely on the ball striking there. I don't know what else to tell you. $7,000, 3%, let's go. He's a solid play. Doesn't make any top 10s though, unfortunately, but for a top 40 play, that's ideal. And 3% ownership is enough. We don't mind that at all there. So Benny On, interesting character. We'll talk about him a bit maybe. I don't know. Recent form's been great. Top 10 rate, 7% in his 15 starts. Not ideal. 10% owned, $8,200. Do what you want to do there. The putting for Benny On, also very bad. Makes a lot of birdies. It's interesting how these guys make a lot of birdies, yet their putters suck. So maybe they're just missing par putts and just doing that. I don't know. Chris Kirk's also very interesting. Doesn't necessarily make the most birdies in the world, yet on easy scoring conditions, he's 11th in the field. That's what you're going to get from Chris Kirk. We're out on him for some reason, just not enough down here. We're just going to scoot on down. all the way here to a guy called Sepp Striker. He's $8,300. He has 15% of his starts in 13 of them are top 10s. So this guy can get in the mix. And this guy, folks, hits good shots. 12th in the field in good shot rate. Second in the field in general putting from 5 to 15 feet. And I know we're playing on bent grass greens, and his bent grass putting stats over the last 50 rounds is 92nd and 94th. But let me tell you something. I'm going to pull up Sepp Striker here for real quickly and show you the Sepp Striker who at the Travelers. Travelers again. If you still have a beer left, every time I say Travelers from now on, we can have a sip together. But in his 4 starts at the Travelers, he gained 2 strokes before missing the cut in 2022. He gained 2.6 before missing the cut in 2021. He gained 2 strokes, when he finished 8th in 2020. And then he gained 5.2 strokes putting when he finished 11th in 2019. So we're going to get a guy who can absolutely throw laser beams on the greens, and his iron play is starting to come back. His iron play is definitely starting to come back. The easy scoring conditions are hot garbage, but we like, although there's not a lot of course history here, for someone to gain that amount of strokes putting on a specific course, I feel like that's a bit of a trend there. 4 times in a row, the guy's gained over 2 strokes, despite missing the cut. He gained over 2 strokes before missing the cut. And then the one time he did make the cut, he still only gained barely more than 2 strokes. So we'll see what he can get up to. He can get spicy. He can get hot. We've seen him get real good on approach in his recent performances too. If you take a look at his off the tee game, he's gained in the last 6 off the tee at least 1.5 strokes. At least. And then we've seen at the PGA Championship and the Memorial, T7, T16, the guy went nuclear on approach. So there's like bits and pieces of his game that are kind of coming together. And if we can somehow Keegan Bradley duct tape the son of a bitch together, Sepp Striker is our guy at plus freaking 70 to 1 to win this tournament. Sepp Striker. Let's go. Course history is pretty solid. We like what he can get up to. 70 to 1, $8,300, 8%. Sign us up there. We're going. Going to Sepp in all departments. Can't quite get to him at plus 110 for a top 40. The model doesn't quite like him there. But Sepp Striker is going to be an outright this week, and we like him a lot. So we're going to go there. We're absolutely going to go there. Harry Hall. We love Harry. Harry Hall, one of the best putters in the field. In fact, the second best putter in the field this season. He is 14th in the field in birdie or better rates and 19th in the field in par 5 scoring. So this guy's going to short game his way to victory here. The approach play has been pretty bad most of the season. But if you take a look at his recent performances, it's kind of jumped up and down. A little inconsistency, but there's a lot more spike good rounds. So maybe we get a few more of those from Harry Hall. He's going to be on the card at plus 188 for a top 40. He's done it 46% of the time. He's $7,100, 5% owned. Sign us up for Harry Hall in all those departments. Let's go. The ball striking is an issue. We'll figure it out. He's one of the best putters in the field. We're going to one of these tournaments that you got to putt well. We'll see what he can get up to. Ben Martin doesn't know what he's doing recently, but around the green, it's been his absolute dynamite kryptonite. He hits a lot of good shots. The putter is a problem, but he makes a lot of birdies. He's going to be $6,900, 2% owned. Sign us up for Ben Martin in DFS. Scary play, $6,900. It's fine. It's cheap. We'll go there. My man Ron is out at the golf course right now and telling me Alex Smalley, I believe, is the guy that we want to target for round 1. The irons are dialed, and he is a really, really good iron player when his irons are dialed. Because if you take a look at what Alex Smalley gets up to on the good shot percentages, 11th in the field. If you take a look at his birdie or better rates, par 5 scoring, not so hot. But we've seen Alex Smalley jump all the way out to the top of leaderboards. Or was that Austin Smotherman? Between those two, they get this stuff figured out. I don't mind Alex Smalley for a first-round leader bet, and we are actually going to be placing that right now on live air because that's what we want to do here. I have no idea what a first-round leader for Alex Smalley is, but while that loads, he does easy scoring conditions, 9th in the field. Love to see that from Alex Smalley. 26th in the field off the tee. Love to see that. There's just a lot to like about the guy, and potentially at a course like this, if we get Alex Smalley with a decent putting week, That's probably why we want to roll with the first round leader, because that is what Alex Smalley is going to get up to. One good round of putting, and he's 70-1 somewhere called Caesar Sportsbook. So go sign yourself up for an Alex Smalley first round leader. We don't do that a lot often, but he is going to be on the card for this week. Let's go. CT Pan, love him in DFS after last week. He burned us a little bit. We're going to go back to him. Bezzy, we're going to go back to as well, because you know what? Bezzy's our guy. The approach play seems like it's still kind of there. He can get hot on these Bancroft screens. And we've seen him actually, if you go look at that graph where I put all those under par rounds, he gets under par at like the Byron Nelson. He got under par at the John Deere Classic. He gets deep under par. These kind of weird courses with Bancroft screens. Bezzy does his thing. So we'll see what he gets up to there. And then Andrew Novak is going to be a casual little top 40 bet at plus 250. A maniac override. When you see value here at 777, that means that we are going to the guy. And if you take a look at his top 40 rate, it's 46% in the field. So 13 starts, 46% of the time, he's finished inside the top 40. And old Andrew Novak hits a lot of good wedges. 10th in the field in that department, friends. 33rd in par 5 scoring. Let's go. And he's putting over the last 24 rounds is 27th in the field. He's around the green play solid. Approach play is kind of moving in the right direction. It's 43rd. The off the tee stuff is an issue. Distance, everything like that, not good. But we like Andrew Novak at 69%. Sorry, 6,900, 2%. Yes, 15% of his starts have been top 10s. He pops, folks. He sure as heck pops. He's been playing great golf. I think he somehow missed the cut last week. Unfortunately, I did an override top 40 bet on him, so he's going to have to redeem himself at plus 250 this week. I love what he can get up to. He's been playing great golf. I like myself, Andrew Novak. So I think that is pretty much everybody that we wanted to actually talk about for an outright situation. I want to make sure that we have everyone before we move on to a few other guys. We haven't spoken about Adam Schenk yet, have we? Adam Schenk, right over here. We just glossed right over him. Last 24 rounds, 19th in the field. He's had a second at the Valspar. He's had a second at the Charles Schwab. A 7th at the Memorial. This guy decides, look at this, $7,300, 16% of the time in his 19 starts. He's chilling a casual top 10 rate. And when it's top 10, it's top 20. So Adam Schenk is like a popper. He does his thing. He gets all the way inside the top 10, bypasses the top 20 bets. Like if you're going to bet a bet on Adam Schenk, if it's a top 20 bet, you might as well make it a top 10 bet, because 3 out of 3 times it's been top 10 versus top 20. So that's what you're going to get from him. On approach, he's 10th in the field. On the putting greens, he's inside the top 45 for both. All the metrics. Bentgrass is probably his worst surface, but it's still not bad. Par 5 scoring 42nd. So there's not a lot the model likes about him, apart from a bit of distance there and recent approach play. But we just know that he's just getting it done somehow. He pops, gets it done, blows out. You know, he's got a kid now, whatever. So we're going to bet this dude to win this week at a casual 100 to 1. Adam Schenk. Yes. And I believe that concludes our outrights, our match. Oh, no matchups yet. Let's dive into the matchups. We've got some matchups for y'all. Some matchups. Let's take a look here. So, Adam Svensson over Alex Noren. Somehow we lost a bet to Alex Noren the last time we played it, and Adam Svensson's going to redeem us at plus money on DraftKings. Plus 100, Adam Svensson. Let's go. Let's bet his ass to kick Alex Noren's ass. I know we're going to a putting contest. It is what it is. I think we bet Seamus Power versus Alex Noren at the US Open, and Alex Noren and Power both missed the cut. Adam Svensson's going to be our guy this time. Hopefully he can take care of business. Alex Noren's safety plus top 20 rating is not the best, and the power rating is not the best either, so we like that value. At plus money, let's go. Sign us up. Aaron Rai versus Ches Reavie at minus 130. The model isn't a big fan of Ches Reavie, despite what he's been up to recently. It's, as you can see, the fact that Ches Reavie is not that popular in the model, it means that it's a long-term model, and that's what we build these matchups for, is long-term success, placements, matchups, that kind of stuff. So we don't like that bet. I don't know if I trust Aaron Rai minus 130 versus Ches at a putting contest in particular. You know, despite Aaron Rai being that high up there, their safety plus top 20 rating is pretty much the same. For some reason, Darbo in the house showing up for the matchups. What's cracking, brother? We're going through a little, I like this one. Justin Suh versus Thomas Dietrich at -110 on DraftKings. Justin Suh has made it. He just makes cuts. He's a great putter. Thomas Dietrich he's been terrible recently. So I don't know what's going on with his number. I love it. -110, it's a bit of a, almost got there at -2 points of value needed from the model here, but we're going to override it and do Justin Suh over Thomas Dietrich on DraftKings at -110. That's our second bet for matchups. Third bet for matchups is Tom Kim -155 over Cameron Davis. Cameron Davis is coming off 3 consecutive missed cuts. The putter is a massive issue. We're going to a tournament that you're going to have to putt lights out. Tom Kim seems like he's figured that stuff out, provides a bit more consistency. The model loves Tom way more than Davis. There's just a lot to like about him. At -155, we are rolling that one out. Feel free to just parlay a Justin Suh versus Tom Kim if you're not looking to lay that much lumber, but we don't mind it at all. On FanDuel, Justin Thomas versus Cameron Davis. -140 for JT versus Cam Davis. Like, this is Justin Thomas. He's not like an elite golfer at the moment, but also Cam Davis is playing really bad golf. And we're getting -140 on FanDuel for this bet. That is a round one bet, though. So know that, because that can be a bit more volatile. But at -140 for JT over Cam Davis, I don't mind it. I don't mind it one little bit. For a round one bet, let's go. So we don't mind that at all. -140 on FanDuel, JT over Cam Davis. And then the model suggested Brandon Wu over Lee Hodges. And I took a look at recent form for Lee Hodges. Man, he actually is playing some solid golf. So the model suggests what we bet. We can choose not to bet it. And then maybe every now and then we do a maniac override. So that's what's cooking over there, folks. Those are the matchups. We are cooking with those. The model is frozen, not responding. It is what it is. We're just going to get ourselves out of there anyway and kind of just end the day saying, happy Tuesday, happy Rocket Mortgage Classic, love your loved ones, remember the big picture. There's worse things in the world than losing golf bets. There's also much better things in the world than winning them. So remain constant, remain chilled. Cheers, Brian. Thanks for tuning in. As always, my friend, I really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody, thanks for tuning in too. We really appreciate you over here at Back 9 Bets. It's a good day. It's a good day to be doing golf stuff. We're going to be optimistic. We're going to hope for the best. We're going to really hope that our luck turns around a little bit. Hit an outright here soon and start rattling them off like a Texas rattlesnake. I don't know what the hell that's analogy was, but it is what it is. 103 minutes into the pod, 63 minutes in. It is what it is. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Let's have a day. I'm off to go watch some goddamn softball, watch those Mustangs kick some ass. Till next time, we'll see you for the John Deere Classic, which is here in Iowa or in Silvis, but close to. Anyway, we'll catch you guys next week. Give me a hell yeah.